Faster, better, more. A new rail revolution in the north, powering jobs, investment, growth. If it sounds familiar...
Massive investments in the transport infrastructure in the north.
Does with Northern Powerhouse Rail what we did for Crossrail in London.
This time, though, the Chancellor said in Leeds today, Northern Powerhouse Rail, or NPR, will actually happen.
And I'm determined that we are now finally going to deliver, and that this Labour government is going to deliver what previous governments have promised but failed to get over the line, and that is Northern Powerhouse Rail.
All of this is interconnected, and I am hugely excited that the Yorkshire Plan for Rail has been heard, we've worked in partnership, and we're going to deliver for Yorkshire.
Look, Yorkshire's front of the queue, so the big things that we've been asking this government for, this government have said they're going to deliver them, so I'm happy.
It has long been acknowledged that train travel in the north simply isn't good enough. It's unreliable with too many delays and cancellations, and unrealistic with journeys between many places taking longer than if you just get in a car and drive. The UK government says NPR will come in 3 phases. Phase 1 will be line upgrades between Leeds and 3 neighbouring cities, including Bradford, which gets a new station. The time frame for work to start is said to be around 2030. Once complete, Phase 2 can start, with a new line, though not high speed, between Manchester and Liverpool, via Manchester Airport and Warrington. The first service is unlikely to run until the 2040s. And Phase 3 would improve routes across the Pennines. In today's announcement, there's a commitment now to just over £1 billion for design and development work. For the whole project, there'd be a cap on central government cash at £45 billion, meaning extra funding will likely be needed from local areas, including for the part that was Andy Burnham's deal breaker, only agreed on at the 11th hour.
They have finally opened the door to an underground station for Manchester Piccadilly. You know, it will be a King's Cross of the North and more. It's absolutely the right solution. So finally we've broken through and our argument has been heard. The government has raised the level of ambition for what our economy can be in the 21st century with this announcement.
Do you think they finally said yes to that to try and make you behave?
I think they looked at the evidence.
According to Labour's opponents, though, the evidence points another way. Reform wanting to scrap NPR. The Tories calling it an endlessly redesigned mirage. Not the view of long-time campaigner Henry Murison.
We need to start work on all 3 phases and not forget that in the end, most of the economic value depends on doing all of it.
And for passengers right now who've been made promises before. Mind me asking you what it's like using trains in the north?
Well, the one time they work well, it's fine. And, you know, we get to where we need to get quickly enough. But when it goes wrong spectacularly, usually.
If you're going to invest, it needs to be now and help the people now.
The reality, though, if this time promises are delivered, the NPR journey will take decades.
Well, a short while ago, I spoke to the local government and English devolution minister, Alison McGovern. I asked her where the £45 billion for the new rail project would come from.
So the Chancellor announced £1 billion worth of investment at the last spending review. So from the government's resources for the planning process for this new Northern Powerhouse Rail. And the government has indicated it would be prepared to commit over the long term £45 billion worth of investment in order to make this railway happen.
So you've committed £1 billion. That means you've got £44 billion still to find. Not a penny of that has been committed, has it? Do you know who said, I think it's really irresponsible to start making promises without having the faintest idea of where the money is going to come from?
So when you're building a new bit of railway, you have to spend quite a bit of time on the technical design, on making sure that you get that right. And we know from the failures of HS2 that it was the lack of technical expertise that went wrong in that project and that has driven the costs up.
People in the north of England have been told again and again that this will happen. And it was Rachel Reeves is the answer to the question who said it was irresponsible to make promises without having the faintest idea of where the money's going to come from. And this is exactly that, isn't it?
No, it's not that. Rachel, as our Chancellor, has done exactly what she said in opposition, which was to bring in that tax that we need. I'll be honest with you, I'm from Birkenhead. I travel on the Liverpool, Manchester, Leeds, Sheffield, York bit of railway right across the north of England all the time as part of my job, and also because I like to do things like, you know, going out of an evening in Manchester and so on. And I can tell you how frustrating it is to be stuck on a rainy platform in Piccadilly Station trying to get back to Liverpool, and then the train comes and it's only 3 carriages long.
The government, just in the last day, has U-turned on digital ID. You U-turned on business rates for pubs, inheritance tax for farmers, 2-child benefit cap, income tax, welfare reform and winter fuel. We could go on. Why should people believe anything that you say, any promise that you make?
I think what you're reading from there is a Conservative Party press release.
No,
and I think that
absolutely not. You U-turned on each one of those things, Minister.
I think, well, I know that the Conservative Party have been putting out that list, and they would say that, wouldn't they? But when it comes to the reason... You're not saying that these U-turns didn't happen, are you? They're not a fabrication by the Conservative Party. Well, I could go through each of those things. On business rates, we put forward a plan at the budget. The Chancellor's listened to those who are running pubs, and she's got a review so that she can do more to help them, because pubs matter. On digital ID, it matters that people are able to prove their right to work. But what matters is people's lives, and if they're able to afford to put food on the table. And when it comes to child poverty, I won't have it said that we U-turned. We are always committed, and we're going to get those kids out of poverty.
Well, you went from saying you weren't going to do it to saying that you were going to do it. So that sounds like a U-turn.
We always said that we would have a strategy. We always said that it would lift children out of poverty, and we've done that.
And the Home Secretary says she has no confidence in the Chief Constable of West Midlands Police today over the Israeli fan ban. I wonder if you think that his position is now untenable, if he just has to resign.
Well, it's unprecedented, I think, in the past decades for a Home Secretary to say that there's a Chief Constable that they don't have confidence in. That's a really significant step to take. In 2011, the powers of the Home Secretary were changed, so it's no longer in her gift to remove a Chief Constable. That power sits with Police and Crime Commissioners now, and I'm sure that the Police and Crime Commissioner for the West Midlands is considering that. I listened to what the Home Secretary had to say in her statement today, and I think it's quite shocking what's happened in the West Midlands. It's got to be put right, because this is a really important issue.
Minister Alison McGovern, thank you so much for speaking with us.